Can I gavel us in? All right. I will gavel us in for this meeting of the Hermosa Beach City School District. Welcome, everybody, on this lovely June day, all the light. Can we start off with a call to order, Dinah?
Yes. Board Member Barrow.
Present.
Board Member Gardner.
Present.
Board Member Bove-LaMonica.
Present.
President Cluth.
Present.
4 present, 1 absent.
Great. All right, we're going to move on to public comments. Public comments from the audience to the board for items in the closed session. Members of the audience may address the board regarding closed session agenda items. Comments from visitors shall not exceed 3 minutes unless waived by a majority of members of the board. Seeing nobody present for public comments, do we have anybody in virtual?
No virtual commenters.
Thank you, Dinah. We'll close public comment and adjourn for closed session.
Dot, we're ready to go.
The Hermosa Beach City School District meeting. There is no report out from closed session. Can we start with calling to order the open session?
Board Member Barrow.
Present.
Board Member Gardner.
Present.
Board Member Bove LaMonica.
Present.
President Cluth.
Present.
4 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. So I'll just to keep protocol tight, there is no report out from the closed session is the next item. So now we'll move on to the flag salutes. Everybody could stand up, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now we need a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Doug. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now we move on to announcements. Starting off, I'm very excited with the Hermosa Valley Middle School Band, Assistant Principal Montoya.
Doesn't sound like it. I can just be really loud. Okay.
There, now we go.
Good evening, members of the Hermosa City School District, faculty, parents, and distinguished guests. It is my great pleasure to stand before you tonight to present our outstanding Valley Middle School Band on behalf of Miss Eunice Kim. Is their amazing band teacher. Miss Kim sends her warmest regards, but unfortunately she is en route to Paris as we speak. But I get the honor of sharing this tonight with everyone. I am honored to share the remarkable achievements of our talented students under Miss Kim's guidance. On May 24th, the students of Hermosa Valley's school band participated in the Forum Music Festival at Fullerton College Campus Theater. Competing against approximately 20 other schools, including a variety of middle school concert and jazz bands and string and wind ensembles, our students delivered a performance that left a lasting impression. Our band performed 3 challenging pieces of music and impressed the judges with their skills and artistry. Their hard work and dedication paid off as they were honored with the Silver Award. This recognition alone is a testament to their excellence, but there is even more to celebrate. In addition to the Silver Award, our saxophone section received a special award to their exceptional sound and musicianship. This is particularly honorable achievement as our school was the only one to receive the special recognition award that day. We are incredibly proud. We are incredibly proud of the Valley Middle School's band accomplishments this past year. Their achievements are a reflection of their hard work, perseverance, and passion for music. Without further ado, it is my honor to introduce the Valley Middle School Band. Please join me in welcoming these talented young musicians as they prepare to inspire us for their performances tonight.
Good evening, my name is Liam Hart, and I'm a 7th grade trombone player here in the HBS band. Our first song is one by popular band's music composer, Michael Sweeney, titled Imperium. This piece features many contemporary harmonies, complex contrasts, and a beautiful overall sound. It is one of our newest pieces, but we have grown to love playing it and very much hope that you will have a great time listening to it as well. Please enjoy our performance. Thank you.
One, two, ready, go. Good evening. My name is Callista Driscoll, and I am a 6th grade trumpet player at Hermosa Valley School. Our final song for today is Into the Clouds by Richard Secudo. We featured this as our final piece at the Forum Festival. It is an exciting piece that features powerful melodies in brass and flourishing melodies in the winds. We hope you enjoy this song as much as we enjoy playing it. Thank you. One, two, three, ready, set, go. Any questions?
Yeah, no questions, just a great job, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. You guys sounded terrific. I know it's not easy without a conductor, without percussion. Who knows how long it's been? It's been at least a week since you last played the instruments, I would assume. So we appreciate you guys taking some time out of your summer and coming and playing and dressing up and doing such a fantastic job. As everybody up here knows, the middle school band and all bands have a special place in my heart, so it always makes me happy to see you guys out here. And yeah, it was a great year. Great job at Forum, great job all year. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. All right. Our next item, more excellence in store here. The Hermosa Hermosa Valley Boys undefeated volleyball team.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that was great. Thank you. So I would like to call up Coach Mike. Coach Mike, you in the house?
Dr. Johnson, do you want to switch and go to item 3 and then come back to the volleyball team?
There's somebody, is that Coach Mike?
Is that Coach Mike?
All right.
Yeah, look at that. Man knows how to make an entrance. Coach Mike, come on up here.
Come on up.
Just want to make sure that height differential is really pronounced up here. Yeah, it's good. All right, so I would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge that our boys volleyball team, man, these boys are bad. Like, scary. I watched them crush my alma mater, Romero Lest, with a lot of resilience, and I thought to myself, man, I wouldn't want to get in their way. I see those boys slamming that ball, and it makes me, it sends chills down my spine. And you are apparently the man responsible for this madness. So thank you for your work and for your efforts. And
my pleasure.
I'd like to do is I'd like your help in reading off these names so I don't screw them up.
Okay.
And let's call these boys up here and acknowledge them. But first, I want to start with you, Coach Mike. Congratulations
Thank you very much.
on a very successful season.
All right. First up, Hudson Barker. Hey, the only seventh grader to make the varsity team.
Congratulations, brother.
Jack Cohen. Jack Cohen. Miles Crotty. No. Hermosa Valley Athlete of the Year right there, Miles Crotty. Jack Landry. Billy Lees. And Chris Miller.
Coach, can you offer us some words of wisdom into the microphone? I like to put people on the spot, just, like what does it take to be so successful?
Listen, this community breeds volleyball players like no other. So while I can say that I might have made them a little bit better, I coached this team the last 2 years. They're a fairly easy team to coach. They do listen, which is great. So kudos to the parents for raising coachable kids. And you just got to play and play and play, and these kids do it. So it's got to keep it up.
We appreciate you, Coach. Thanks so much. We're going to take a picture. Sure. Come on down. Boys, do you mind coming to the front over here? Do you mind coming over here in the front? We're going to snag a photo. Yeah. You guys go to the middle. Very good. Quentin, come on here if you can. So, a little high from here. I'm going to lay it down across the front. Is it going to work?
Next item is the Superintendent Advisory Committee. Dr. Johnson.
All right, if I could have the Superintendent's Advisory Council come up and stand beside me here so I don't feel nervous. All right, so this is the second year of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. I find it very, very valuable and get incredible insight from these young ladies. There's boys as well too, they're hiding somewhere. And I can't stress enough how important it is in Hermosa to listen to student voices. They have great ideas, and everyone knows at this point that every good idea I ever had I stole from somebody else. So I want to give a big thank you to this group, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we worked on this year. So first, credit Stephen McCall for this picture, by the way. So this is the group, and I want to introduce, here I have Aaron, Dylan, Anya, and Evan. And Anya has actually been on the Superintendent Advisory Council for 2 years running. But it's a great group. One of the recommendations of the Advisory Council last year was to go ahead and have a larger group. And I thought it was a great group of kids, and again, another year of just getting invaluable feedback, so thank you. All right, who am I turning over to school lunch? Is that you, Evan? All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Evan for school lunch.
This year in Student Advisory, we talked about many things, including our school lunch. So what we did was we met with Paula Montalbo, took a lunch survey, and found many helpful results, which included students' favorite and least favorite food items, and we even added a second lunch at Vista.
We were also able to discuss bathrooms, and one of the main things that came up that students mentioned a lot in the bathrooms was the general cleanliness, and that it would have been a lot better since the bathrooms had been updated. And we were also able to get in mirrors and new hand dryers in the bathrooms, as well as free feminine products.
Hi, my name's Anya, and we had many opportunities to share our feedback with Hermosa businesses, and one of them was the Hermosa Museum. We all gave our feedback to a committee of people working there. We shared our point of view, what we liked, and what we thought could be improved. One of our group's favorite aspects in the museum were the interactive pieces. We also said that we would love it if the museum could touch more on historical events that we were aware of, such as junior lifeguards and the history of Clarkfield.
Hi, I'm Jillian. The Advisory Council met with Parks and Recreation, and we gave a lot of feedback for the 2024 Master Plan for Hermosa Beach. Some suggestions were more handicap walkways for our beaches, more water fountains and water refill stations on the greenbelt, adding more parklets around the town, opening up more pickleball courts, and lastly, we talked about the pros and cons about adding a public pool.
We discussed with Principal Bledsoe about our new student committee. We all talked about some of our experiences, especially the transition of 5th grade to 6th grade. We made the suggestion that there could be a physical welcoming committee made to help new students feel welcome. During this meeting, Ms. Bledsoe told us about some new activities like clubs and sport clinics.
Hermosa Facilities and Improvements. Dr. Johnson presented to the Advisory Council about potential improvements to Hermosa Valley School, such as science labs, solar panels, and redoing the front of the school for safety. We gave him feedback about the bike cage and its size, and perhaps having reserved parking or charging stations, making sure the science lab walls were soundproof because the gym is allowed in Mr. Coleman's room. We gave a lot of feedback about the athletic field and playground. We would like to see a better playground with climbing structures, a seesaw, more swings, lots of swings, and it should be able to be used by middle schoolers. We also want to see more tables and seating areas, shade structures or more trees, tetherball, and 2 volleyball courts. Any questions?
Any questions from my colleagues? I'd just say thank you guys very much for representing your fellow students and helping the administration hear the students and be able to be responsive to what you see as the needs out there. It's invaluable. Thank you.
Great, and in our tradition, we do offer certificates of recognition for your work. So Anya, Aaron, Evan, and Dylan, and President Kluth, if you could come up so we could take a picture.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, ladies.
Next up, very important HVPTO and HBEF presidents recognition.
Me again. So I would like to first call up Jen Bucksbaum, HBF outgoing president. So just a few words. Jen Bucksbaum has served in many different capacities. We met on Wellness Council. And what I appreciate most about Jen is that when Jen says, hey, I think we should do this. I'm like, well, I mean, like, are you gonna volunteer to do that? And then the next thing you know, she's out there in the vest and with a whistle out there yelling at kids at Hermosa Valley Middle School supervising. So like, to me, there's There's something to be said for someone who has an idea and is willing to back it up with their own time and their own effort. And I think it's truly a testament to that mentality that I think the Ed Foundation has never been better. 1.5 million raised this school year for a school district that has 1,300 kids. Just want to thank you so much for your service. You mean like, and the incredible team that not only have you had around you this year, but you've had around you for your entire career here as a parent. And as you know, what we like to do is we like to recognize you with the wave of appreciation.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Now I want to share as well too, our city likes to get in on this. So they've given you this certificate.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is exciting.
Yes, very nice. And then not to be outdone, we also provided our certificate of recognition as well too to go with your wave. So there you go.
Nice.
Okay, very nice.
Goodness. And
Okay.
we need a whole new wall
Yeah.
in the house.
Then this is congressional, Ted Lieu, he sends his regards as well, says, good job, 1.5 million, I can't believe it, I need to get torrents on the same, all right, I'll move on from that. Okay, all right, and then Al Marisucci, the man that always shows up, he has my vote, but he's termed out, so there you go for that as well too. And
I met him actually at the MV wine auction the other
you would, he always shows up. All right, and Senator Ben Allen also too, he sends his regards. There you go. Now you have all the official paperwork that says that you volunteered for Hermosa. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. That was so nice. Thank you.
All right, next I would like to call up outgoing PTO President Nicole Ellison. I love Nicole, and I'm going to tell this very brief story that when Nicole was, I was trying to convince her to be the PTO president, I took her for a walk halfway across Hermosa. You mean like thinking that if I wore her down mentally enough and physically enough, she'd say yes. And I was about to get on my hands and knees and propose, don't be jealous. You mean like, please, please, please be the PTO president. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, oh, and then I got up off my hands and knees and felt that it was unnecessary at that point. So Nicole, you have been such a stable part of the PTO. And again, as I said with Jen, the people that you attract around you are the real volunteers that make this school district grow. For anyone that's involved in schools, it does not happen. If there's something cool, chances are PTO is behind it. Schools cannot run without its volunteers, and you are such an important part of that. And I just cannot, seriously, I cannot thank you enough. So thank you. And you also get a wave of appreciation. And again, the city sends its regards. They have a nice, Diana, we need to, they got a nice thing going on there. All right, Ted Lieu, he says hello. This is our certificate of appreciation. Yes, of course, frame it, put it on your wall. Al Marisucci, the man who always shows up. And Senator Ben Allen also says his regards. Nicole, you are amazing. Thank you so much. And if you would be so kind to stick around, Quentin, if you could come down, and Jen, if you could come back up so we could take a picture, memorialize this moment. Bring the wave, bring the wave.
Good job.
I just want to add, I have some secondhand knowledge and appreciation of what these leadership roles take, and we're very, very thankful. We know it's close to a full-time job for parts of the year, and what you do and how you corral all the other people in this community who are so supportive of our schools is amazing and critical. So thank you.
I want to concur. I was the board rep for the PTO and Ed Foundation, so I just want to put my 2 cents into that. You guys are amazing, and we would not be able to exist without you, period. End of story. Thanks.
I concur as well.
Maggie disagrees, apparently. I don't know. Just kidding. Okay, moving on to retirements. Dr. Johnson.
Hi. All right. So we have 3 retirees joining us tonight. We had a few more, but they unfortunately couldn't make it because they are enjoying their retirement. So kudos to them. So first up, I'd like to invite from Hermosa View, Tricia Romero, who has served our district for 33, going on 34 years. That's what it says. How many years was it really? 17, but you should get that from CalSTRS. I said it, so yeah. All right. So first up, I have Terry Bowes here, who we never let retire. She's going to come up and say a few words on your behalf.
Kind of long, but you're worth it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Terry Bowes, and I'm here tonight to tell you all about my good friend and coworker, Trish Romero. Together, we have experienced many challenges as IBIs at Hermosa Beach School System. We have worked in all 3 campuses and worked with all grade levels. Trish and I have learned so much over the many years, and we have learned to lean on each other with humor and friendliness. Okay, friendship. Everyone needs a coworker that you can smile at and know they know exactly what you're thinking. Trish and I have always had each other's backs, and when we need extra help, we always stood up for each other. The job description of intense behavior instructor, IBI, is to select students to have one-on-one support training and to help the students with learning activities with children with special needs. Also to assist with IEPs and collect data for the teachers. Right, but that's not all we do. Most of all, we take care of behaviors. Most part of behaviors. Trish has 2 requirements needed to be an exceptional IBI aide: patience and kindness. Her daily patience with her students is amazing to watch. Trish's calming, reassuring voice when dealing with a student in crisis mode always de-escalates the situation. I have seen Trish use patience extremely waiting out her students' behavior on and off the playfield. She understands that she is there to help and reassure her students in times of stress. Trish always respects the students' special needs, and she treats them with patience and authority. Anyone who has met Trish knows how kind she is to everyone she meets. Her kindness extends not only to her students, but to the whole classroom. Her teachers and coworkers appreciate her willingness to step in and to help with the other students when there's a need. Trish's quiet, gentle kindness makes the whole class a better experience for everyone. On a personal note, I feel I'm an outside member of your house. You have allowed me to follow your children's accomplishments and with the great pride of a mom. I have seen pictures of high school proms, graduations, go Knights, college graduations, weddings, and new puppies, and hopefully some beautiful baby pictures. Trish, this new phase of your life is going to be amazing. I know your husband and children will be the most important part of your new adventure. Embrace your new freedom. No more morning clocks. And enjoy everything you are so lucky to be able to share together, that even includes your dog. I miss you, and we all will miss you. We've done a lot together. Go out and make lots of memories, and remember to send me pictures.
Trish, in a time-honored tradition, we like to put our retirees on the spot and have them share a few words of wisdom. Thank you.
I just want to thank everybody for letting me work with everybody all these years. I respected all the teachers. I learned so much from them. Also, I respect the administration as well for listening to me whenever I had something to say, and respecting what I had to say as well. And I remember when I started, I met Sylvia when she was at Valley, so it's kind of nice. I started with Sylvia, and then she's still here when I leave. So it's kind of nice, but I appreciate everybody's kindness, and I really, really enjoyed working here, and I love working with kids, especially kids that need my help, and it just gives me so much joy to see the improvement. And that's the most important thing for me. When I see them at the beginning of the school year, and about 3 months later, I get so excited. And then another 3 months, I see it. And then the end of the school year, I just feel really proud. So thank you so much.
Trish, I would like to offer you a larger wave of appreciation. Very nice. And then all the various civics service people send their regards as well, too. Congratulations. All right. Next, I would like to invite up from Hermosa Vista, the great Tracy Robinson. All right. So tonight, Tracy, congratulations. I mean, very, very excited. And is Leah Navas in the house somewhere? She is not tonight? All right, so I would like to share a little bit about Leah Navas. About Tracy Robinson. There we go. I'm gonna get it back together. About Tracy Robinson, and her service to the district. So I believe you've served 35 years?
33 years in the district and 36 years.
33 and 36 years teaching. So Tracy has been here for a very, very long time and served multiple generations of our students. And I'm going to tell a few quick Tracy stories that I absolutely love. First off, Tracy is one of the most interesting people that I've met. And I always make it a point before a break to ask her where she's going on vacation, because she has some exotic trip plan where she's meeting someone in the Amazon and then up to San Francisco. Then a layover in Canada or something. So it's always very, very interesting. So a very, very interesting person. Also, Tracy served as the HBA president for how long? 13 years. So having spent time in the union myself, let me just tell you that serving 13 years in the union, that's like dog years. That's a long time. That's a lot of summers doing negotiations. And Tracy and I have served together on negotiations for the last 4 years. And I just want to say thank you. I view you and the negotiating team as such great partners. And me and this woman have disagreed a lot over the years. She's fierce. But also too, we've accomplished so much together. And I do think that having those differences and talking through that is what makes the district better. And I'm so grateful to that. And then finally, the thing I want to share is about the butterfly garden that Tracy came to me. It was about 1.5 years ago, 2 years. And she's like, Jason, we got to do butterflies. And I was like, what? And she's like, butterflies. We're going to have all these butterflies around. So flash forward, 2 years later, and we have butterfly gardens at Hermosa View and Hermosa Vista. And, getting the opportunity to watch kids interact and again, learn about the cycles of life. And one of our students with special needs, came across, was working in the butterfly garden as part of one of his little cool down activities. And I just think that those experiences wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you. And those are really the things that kids remember as well too. So you've had such a long, special career, one of our longest serving employees in the district. And I just want to say a big congratulations. You're very welcome. And I would like to offer you some hardware. 1 second. Okay, so first off, a wave of appreciation. And all the various paperwork from our civic services. And Tracy, if you could shower us with some words of wisdom for your long and storied career.
Well, it has been mixed emotions in leaving such a wonderful district. I've been scared and happy and everything in between. I've known many people in this district for decades, and they're truly dear, dear friends to me. So, of course, I'll keep in touch with many people, but I will miss them dearly. More importantly, I will miss the children. I did sit down and do a rough calculation of how many students I've had. And I think I've had about 900. And I was like, wow, oh, I could say, well, I touched the lives of 900 students. But also, they've touched my life. And I feel very, very grateful that 900 students in my career have touched my life. And they've helped me keep younger than maybe I would be otherwise. And I feel very grateful that I've had this opportunity. And I think that the public education system of this country is our greatest democratic institution of this nation. And I feel grateful that I was a part of it. And thank you for entrusting me with these wonderful children. I feel very, very fortunate that I had your trust. And I did the best I could. And as a teacher, I always tried to make learning fun for them and for me. Because I think that when learning is fun, you will be a lifelong learner. And that is very important, that even if we're not in school, that we continue to learn until we can't learn anymore. Because that makes us better people. And that allows us to improve as people as we live on. So thank you, Hermosa Beach, for having me as a teacher for all these years. I've certainly appreciated it, and I will miss all of you very deeply. Thank you.
All right, we are gonna keep it going here. So can I next welcome up Denise Valentini-Stern, school psychologist from Hermosa Valley. All right, I'm gonna get it right this time. 15 years of service. I asked her before. All right, so Denise Valentini-Stern, we have Megan Ehrman, who's gonna come up and share a few words about the great Denise.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Say your name. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Ehrman. I'll face this way. All right. Yes. No, I'm going to get through this, right? Denise, 22 years in this field, and I've never met a more exceptional school psychologist or coworker. You are, yeah, you are a unicorn, one of a kind, and totally irreplaceable. Your dedication to each and every student, family, and coworker has been remarkable. Your office, a safe haven, doors always open, heart always open, listening ears, always ready to listen to everyone. The countless hours you have given to support all of us, to provide us therapy, unpaid, thank you. At the start of every morning, you could always find your usual patients, Hareska, Hart, Butcher, by noon, Thompson, Grillo, Grellner, and on and off through the day, me. Oh, and pretty much everyone else from our school and outside of our school. Your presence on our campus and with our team is a loss none of us are ready or prepared for. Your knowledge and expertise has helped every professional in our district grow. A true leader without a given title. I am beyond grateful for the last 11 years working with you. We have been through a lot, Denise. We are the last standing of the original crew Pat brought in. We have gone through changes in superintendents, principals, assistant principals, team members, a loss of one of our team members, Peg, COVID, virtual IEPs, health, sickness, family changes, and so much more. Let me pause. Okay, you are family. You have made me a better special education teacher. Thank you. You're supposed to make me laugh. I am not sure I will be able to walk past your door without you there. But I am grateful I can walk to your house since we're neighbors. I'll be coming a lot. My friend, you deserve every moment of rest, relaxation, adventure, and family time. You have earned it. Thank you for all you have given to Hermosa Beach City School District and to our team. Hold on, I'm not done. Denise, you have given your whole heart and soul every day. You definitely have left your mark. Now go and enjoy your retirement because it's very well deserved.
I'm like the worst guy to follow that emotional moment, so let me lighten it up a little bit. Great job. Just real quick, when I came back, when I first came, and the Valley was a ghost town because everyone was home, you were one actually the first people that I met because she was working away in the office, not missing a beat. So super kudos. A very well-deserved wave of appreciation. And all the paperwork to go with it. I'm sure you need more paperwork in your life. Yeah. Actually, don't move. If we could invite all of our employees, our retirees up, and if Quentin could come on down and let's take a group photo. Thank you. All right. Quentin, you okay with me just jumping right into the next item? Thanks. I got it. All right. Employees of the Year, my favorite. So, unfortunately, since we had this board meeting well after the end of the school year, many of our employees of the year were like, hey, I'm tired. I've been working really hard, so I'm going to take the summer off. So they're not here today, but we're still going to read off their names. From Hermosa View, Jamie Martinez, our licensed vocational nurse. Congratulations. And certificated staff member Emily Ganser, our speech language pathologist. Congratulations. From Hermosa Vista, Adriana Rodriguez, paraeducator, couldn't make it tonight. We wish her congratulations, though. And certificated staff member Jen Cedarquist, fourth grade teacher, Congratulations. Well deserved. But you know what? Hermosa Valley showed up, though, in a big way. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Bledsoe, who's going to talk about our Employees of the Year.
Does that mean I get 3 times the speaking time? I wasn't sure. I wanted to clarify. Can I just choose? Monique Gonzalez, come on up. Good evening, board. It is my great honor to present this year's Certificated Staff of the Year award to a truly remarkable individual, Monique Gonzalez. Monique epitomizes what it means to be an exceptional educator and leader. Smart, connected to kids, fair, dedicated, honest, kind, mighty. She inspires all who cross her path. Despite her petite stature, she has a powerful presence. Her students describe her as someone who prepares them well for high school math, earns their trust, and always stands up for them. Direct quotes. They say she sets high expectations, holds them accountable, and manages to inspire even with her gentle threats. I've heard them, sometimes gentle, mostly gentle threats. Monique has become a trusted partner to me and to all of us, to the point where we often communicate without words. In meetings with students, our silent exchanges convey complex thoughts like, do you believe him? Or, how do you want to move forward? This seamless teamwork allows us to execute decisions with precision. One of the highest compliments I can give Monique is that I trust her judgment implicitly, especially in her new role as disciplintosa. Her ability to manage student discipline with wisdom and fairness has been exceptional, and her dedication is evident as she spends significantly more time collaborating with me than her contract requires. Monique is not just a teacher, but a teacher leader. Her relentless pursuit of growth and learning, whether developing new math lessons or engaging in master schedule conversations, is truly inspiring. Our staff is incredibly fortunate to have her. Monique, I'm thrilled that you have agreed to spend more time with me next year. Congratulations on your success, both in and out of the classroom. You are a true leader, and this award is a testament to your incredible dedication and impact. Congratulations. Okay. Donna. Okay. Today we gather to celebrate and recognize an extraordinary member of our middle school community, Miss Donna, our dedicated and caring Paula, food service queen. That was the title, right? Donna is not just someone who prepares meals. She is the cornerstone of our school, a beacon of kindness, and a trusted adult who leaves a profound impact on everyone she encounters. Each day, Donna ensures that all of the students have enough to eat and thoughtfully provides options to those with dietary restrictions. She doesn't just meet their nutritional needs, she nourishes their spirits as well. Donna knows our kids, not just by sight, but by name, often remembering their first, middle, and last names. This level of personal connection is a testament to her deep commitment to our students and this town. As a parent in Hermosa, Donna understands the challenges our children face. This unique perspective makes her an incredible ally for our kids. On many occasions, I have walked up to the kitchen window during non-lunch hours and found students leaning across the counter talking with her. These conversations are more than casual chats. They are moments of trust and support. Donna often begins our discussions with, hey, do you have a minute to talk about something that's bubbling up with the kids? Or did you hear what happened over the weekend with student X? She keeps her finger on the pulse of our school, addressing issues before they escalate and ensuring our students feel heard and valued. Teachers have shared stories of students returning from the restroom with milk, explaining, I was talking to Donna about an issue I was having. Dr. Johnson encapsulated it perfectly when he said, can't you just see Donna back there polishing glassware, listening to the things troubling kids? Her ability to multitask while providing a compassionate ear exemplifies her dedication and the trust our students place in her.
She cares deeply, performs her job responsibilities with excellence, and is an amazing leader and team player. Donna, thank you for everything you do, the problems you solve before they reach my desk, and for being a vital part of our community. You are important to this place and to me personally. Round of applause for Donna.
All right, and I am excited to announce our Administrator of the Year, Sylvia Gluck. Come on up. Your wave of appreciation. All right, what did I write here? I would like to describe the picture of Sylvia and I working together during my first month in Hermosa, July 2020. International pandemic, school closed, enrollment cataclysmic, people, well, very angry. At South Park, you know, the district office, my head was down like this. And I was repeating something to the effect of, I became superintendent just in time to ruin the school district. Sylvia was across the room and she began talking positively, always so darn positive, about what she thought we could accomplish and said we needed a vision board. Vision board. What the heck is a vision board? Sylvia said, oh, I do them all the time. I write down the things I want to happen, and it always comes true. Always, you'll see. Screw it, I thought. I got nothing to lose. Sure, write your vision board on the poster over there. Here is what Sylvia wrote. Star Childcare, full day TK kindergarten, grants, later over $1 million and counting. Inclusion program for special education, preschool, enrollment 1,400. This was July 2020. I liken Sylvia to LeBron James. For about a decade, LeBron James would have been league MVP every year, just as Sylvia the last 4 years could have been employee of the year annually, but hey, we got to spread the love. Or in another way, Sylvia is the Hermosa version of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where it could be very difficult to name a person, program, or system that does not lead back to Sylvia Gluck. In Hermosa, Sylvia is the face, the strategist, the manager of the school district. She is the engine that makes Hermosa go. Sylvia possesses the highest expectations, consistently pushing programming where excellence is the norm. If there is a problem, Sylvia will literally not sleep until it is solved or completed. She is willing to get into the weeds side by side with her team members and work towards solutions that maximize student benefit and the dollar. She is a woman of action, demonstrating time and again that when Sylvia says, it will be done, it will be done. She excels at fulfilling the vision board because Sylvia has the ability to see the big picture and the big goals and tangible steps. This is what sets her apart. Many folks have great ideas, but have a hard time realizing them. Sylvia is a visionary with get-it-done grit. It should be noted how much Sylvia has learned on the go. She possesses an almost savant ability to learn necessary things such as special education compliance, LCAP, preschool requirements, to only name a few, and master them better than those supervising them. She is actually every job-alike and compliance officer's darling because she often understands expertise better than the experts. Finally, Sylvia has been an incredible advocate for kids. She is a doer. A lot of people talk about advocacy. Few do what Sylvia is willing to do. She is willing to be the bad guy for kids. There are so many students in our school district who would not have had the same educational access if not for Sylvia Gluck. She advocated for full-day programming because she knew it would benefit the neediest students. She opened a preschool because she knew Hermosa students would be better in Hermosa schools. I personally have never worked with another educator who has made such a substantial impact on children with special needs. Her work in special education is one of the things I am most proud and grateful for during my time in Hermosa Beach. I thought I was a special ed guy. I met my match and then some. As I say often, Sylvia Gluck is Hermosa Schools. I literally cannot separate the person from the institution. I am so incredibly grateful and proud to have been her partner along for the ride with the Gluckster, an incredibly innovative, hardworking, kindred soul. Thank you. If we could have our Employees of the Year come on up and let's snap a photo and make it official.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations to our awardees, our retirees, and their families. Thank you for all of your contributions. Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
You don't want me to sing, though. Yeah. All right. Bye. Thank you for coming. Is she? That's awesome.
So adorable. I often was in Denise's office in the morning.
Yeah.
And then just chit-chatting about topics.
Is that your sister?
All right. We're going to move on to the business part of the agenda. We're going to start with public comments. Members of the audience may address the board on any topic, regardless of whether it is listed on the agenda. However, the board may not discuss issues raised that are not listed on the agenda. Topics not on the agenda that are brought to the board's attention may be investigated by the administration and a report made to the board, either publicly or privately, at a future meeting. Comments from visitors shall not exceed 3 minutes per individual speaker unless waived by a majority of all the members of the board. With that, are there any public comments? Please come forward and let us know your name, and then we'll set up 3 minutes for you.
Sure. Hello, my name is Jim Fasola. I thought we'd have a few more people here for this, but I'm here to talk about the upcoming bond measure and basically the artificial turf proposal that's in the plans for Valley School. I spoke with Dr. Johnson a few weeks ago about this, and he listened. He was great to talk to. It was terrific. But I wanted to say something in front of the whole school board. So of the $25 million roughly of the bond, about a quarter of it is going to, is at least projected to be for the artificial turf and for moving the grass, the existing grass field into where the pavement is now. But it's about $6 million, maybe a little more. And so the lawn at Valley Park, which I love, and we have used, even after it's been fenced off, we've used it for a lot of different things, recreation. But that lawn, if there was ever a lawn that should be kept as natural grass, it's got to be Valley Valley Field, because Valley Park Field. The water that field is watered with, there is a pipe that goes under the green belt, and that is recycled water from Hyperion, and it is provided to all the parks along and fields along Valley Boulevard, and it's cheap. And if it's not used, it is pumped into the ocean, so it's basically thrown away. So it is ours to use. The artificial turf, on the other hand, is not only expensive to build and expensive to maintain because it needs to be replaced about every 8 or 10 years, maybe even more depending on how much it's used. But there's all the chemicals and plasticizers and PFAS that are in artificial turf, and more things are coming out about how bad these chemicals are for kids. And there's a study of childhood cancer, and they find all these soccer goalies are getting certain types of cancer, and they think it's from running around. The soccer goalies are on artificial turf, and they're skidding around on it, and so the plasticizers are absorbed through their skin, and they're the crumb rubber or the little pellets that go in any kind of field. They think they're ingesting them a lot, but they can't figure. These studies take a long time to figure out. But for some reason, soccer goalies get a lot of cancer, and at a very young age. The installation of artificial turf would require about 3 million pounds of gravel to be dumped on the field. Either the grass would be killed, and then 3 million pounds of gravel and 80,000 pounds of turf and plastic.
Speaker's time is up.
Should I? I'll wrap it up quickly. And that is non-recyclable. It's all non-recyclable. I'll just say that if there was anything that the school, like about being green and being good to the earth, that all these things that kids are taught in school, this is a poke in the eye about it, saying basically it doesn't matter, just do whatever you want, put plastic everywhere, and it's really not that important. So I urge you to go back, keep the natural grass field. Thank you for listening.
Are there any other in-person public comments? All right, seeing none in person, are there any in the waiting room?
No one is online.
Okay. With that, we will close public comment. Thank you, Jim, for your comments and for coming. We will move now to the superintendent update.
Thank you, Quentin. First off, just a shout out to Hermosa Valley and our 8th graders for promotion. It was very, very well done. I heard the dance was fun afterwards. I did drop in on the dance. They were having a good time. And thank you to our parents and our volunteers and staff that supported that effort. I also want to give a shout out to Eileen Levin and our Miracosta and Redondo students who came back for the senior send-off. I know Kathy was there in attendance. It was just a really, really good evening. This is the third time we've done it. And just seeing our students and our staff reconnect before they go off to college. A lot of great colleges in the air. Obviously, you know, Cal, Go Bears, and El Camino for that matter as well too. So it's just like double trouble there. So great job to our to Eileen, and then just it was really special to see our seniors. This was a special class too because they were kind of like the kids that got stuck in the COVID stuff and had missed out on a lot of opportunities. So it was nice to see them be able to come back. I want to give a big thank you at the end of the year here to volunteers. Volunteers are what makes schools run. We had an opportunity to highlight the PTO and HBF outgoing presidents, but just a big shout out. And I want to give a special shout out to Lisa and Carol. They were my first PTO and HBF president when I came in the year 1. They stayed a 3rd year in order to see through COVID. That's given up a big portion of your life at the worst time possible. And they will forever be my 2 special volunteers because they were critical in keeping communication lines open and helping us get back to campus. Then I want to give a big thank you to HBA. We did reach tentative agreement. Hermosa Beach Educators Association is, to me, the model of the greatness of what unions offer, which is partnership to make schools better. I've negotiated 5 contracts with them in 4 years. including 2 3-year agreements and a plethora of MOUs that I couldn't keep track of during COVID. They have been partners every step of the way, kept us safe, kept us thriving, kept our kids in school, and achieved great things. So I just cannot think of a better partner. That is a relationship I will truly miss, is working with our great union and our awesome staff. I want to give a thank you to the leadership team for another successful year. I love everybody. You're all great, but the leadership team are my people. If you think you can run a school, you should try it sometime. It's a little more than you think it is. So I can't thank those people enough. My team, my folks here, you are incredible. I love working with you. This is the strongest team of administrators I've ever worked with in my career, so thank you. And then finally, I'd like to thank the board. It's been 4 great, wonderful years. Thank you for taking a chance on me at a very tough time. You are an absolute wonderful board to work for. A superintendent coming in is incredibly lucky to work with people that are truly dedicated and focused on the right things. You have do such a great job tuning out a lot of the noise and focusing on what matters for kids. I'm absolutely confident, if the community is watching, that these are the people you want deciding who's going to be the next superintendent. So thank you for that. And that concludes my board update. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Johnson. Moving on to item 9, public hearings. Item H, 0523/24, hearing on the 2024-2025 Local Control and Accountability Plan and Annual Updates.
The board.
Whole text? Go ahead.
I can read it.
Do I? Okay.
The board is holding a public hearing on the Local Control and Accountability Plan and Budget of the district for the year ending June 30th, 2025, prior to final adoption as required by Education Code Sections 42103, 42127A1, and 52062. Public comment is requested.
If there is no public comment, do I ask for a motion?
Yes.
To close the hearing? Seeing no public comment, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Kathy, for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing on the LCAP and annual updates is adjourned. Moving on to the next item, another hearing, H0623/24, hearing on 24-25 local control funding formula budget.
The board is holding a public hearing on the local control funding formula budget of the district for the year ending June 30, 2025, prior to the adoption as required by Education Code 42103, 42127A1, and 52062. Public comment is requested.
Seeing nobody leaping up to make public comment, I'll ask for a motion to close.
Virtual comment?
I was looking over at Dinah. Any virtual comment, Dinah?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. I will ask for a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, second from Doug.
I tried to beat you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Public hearing is adjourned, pardon me. Yeah. There's no hockey game on. We can go all night. All right. Moving on to board reports. I'm going to look to Doug first.
Yeah, I attended a couple things over the last month. The first is the band concert. We had our band here tonight, but there was a concert back on June, I believe it was the 5th, where we got to hear the 5th grade band as well as the middle school band, and they really did a fantastic job. They played many of the songs they played at the Forum, which was talked about here this evening, which I also attended, and it was really, they've come a very long way this year, so I'm very, very proud of all of them. The next item was the promotion, which we were all at, and then finally I attended the tri-agency meeting on Tuesday. You're welcome.
Thank you.
With our friends from the city. Mr. Massey and Mr. Jackson was there, as well as the city folk and our friends from Beach Cities Health District, and we went through a number of items, most people asking for money and the problems with their budgets and buildings and things like that, ourselves included. I know the admin is preparing a more in-depth review, but that was the general gist, if everybody needs more cash for various things and to expect those things on your ballot this November. And that is all. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Maggie? Any board reports?
Yeah, I was able to attend the last ceremony of the year that honored, sorry, I can't speak, the Sand Dune Memorial with Suzanne and Tammy Heath and Ray Waters, and really grateful for the district, for everybody welcoming and celebrating the involvement of both community and staff to make that, and all the students who've made it such a success.
Thank you. Kathy, any board reports?
Yeah, I, as the board rep for the HVPTO and Ed Foundation, I'm still astounded by all of their contributions. And every time I go to the meeting, I try to give a report, but Jason always one-ups me. So I don't have anything to say, but other than appreciation. And I also got the opportunity to be on the Equity Inclusion Committee with Jason. It's the people on that are just amazing. I think we have lots of future with that group, so that's pretty amazing. And as he also mentioned, the alumni coming back, I wasn't there as a board member, I was there as a former teacher, and I love it when these kids come back that were 8th graders and now they're 12th graders graduating. In fact, one kid I said, in 8th grade you wouldn't have given me the time of day. And he's like, high school has a way of making us mature. And I'm like, yeah, for sure, that was pretty awesome. And I was with Maggie on the sand dune thing. That was pretty amazing. So that's it.
Thank you very much. I will just comment on, it was my 3rd or 4th graduation, 8th grade graduation. It was my first one was, I think, the first one we did outside on our own grounds, and we've now done it, I think, 4 years in a row, and it's been fantastic. My daughters didn't want to hug me at any of them, but they were still fantastic. The weather was great, and the setup was great, and Jessica did such a good job just managing the whole event and making it run, and it was just fabulous event. So very appreciative of all the people who put in time for that, and there's a lot of volunteers behind the scenes too, and want to thank them. All right. Moving on from board reports to the superintendent report and board discussion section, starting with R35 23/24, presentation from Educational Support Services on the Leadership Profile Report. Dr. Stephen Keller, welcome.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you all. I'll raise this just a little bit. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you all again. I'm Stephen Keller from ESS and a retired superintendent from nearby. I was superintendent in Redondo Beach for 16 and a half years, in fact, and retired about a year and a half, so I know a little bit about the South Bay. Full disclosure, I worked with Jason. I hired Jason as a teacher. We hired Jason, although I did interview him. And I just want to say congratulations, Dr. Johnson. You're a fine employee for the Redondo Beach Unified School District and equally in Hermosa Beach, so congratulations to you, sir. I do want to say I am doing this ESS search with Dr. Gary Rutherford. His name is up there. And we are doing this together. He'll be joining you again. You've met him. He'll be joining us on Monday, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. The board gave us very clear instructions early on to get stakeholder input. That's what this document is about, and we're going to share that to the community right now. And I just want to let you know, rest assured, there are plenty of people watching this board meeting, not necessarily living in Hermosa Beach, but people that want this job badly. This is a very, very coveted position to come after. So know that you're being watched right now by other people than your residents. So let's get on with this. Clicker right means it clicks forward. I knew I could figure it out. Thank you. All right, tonight's agenda, purpose of educational partner engagement. We're going to go through that. And this is a good teacher right here. This is I'm setting you up for what's next. Participant involvement, why we did it, and what we got, the data collection process, and what we heard and what we learned. So, how does the engagement phase inform the search process? First, it helps the board and candidates understand the district needs and challenges from a variety of perspectives. So not just your perspective or ours as search consultants or Dr. Johnson's for that matter, but really the community. And we'll talk a little bit more about this and the stakeholder input we received. It also helps with the input for the recruitment and hiring protocols. For example, this document that I'm sharing right now, and the document I have before me, is going to guide the questions for the interview process and processes, because there ideally will be 2 rounds in the interview process. Third bullet provides data and insight to guide the board in its selection of the next superintendent. Let's say the board really likes two candidates and is struggling which two candidates to select. This document will be the rubric that is used to, ideally, separate the tiebreaker and determine which candidate should be the one to move on because of your great stakeholder input. And then the last piece is it offers a roadmap. If you're an incoming superintendent, this document gives them a document to say, this is how you get started. You're going to get a lot of information coming at you quickly, but this document has been thoroughly created. So I think that is important for the new person coming in. By the numbers, so the survey, this is the survey the online survey that was conducted. It was open for about 2 weeks. We had 200 people respond to the survey. And then we had a focus group, which is a separate piece of information I'll share with you. 32 total people. It was PTO, the Ed Foundation, administrators, and our labor partners. And then we, of course, always receive a few emails from people that want to give us their input that couldn't make the meeting or didn't get enough time in their survey and felt like they needed a little bit more quality time with us. So what did the survey say? Real simple. I do want you to know of the 200 people, 140 of them were parents or guardians. So this is very heavy parent-guardian, which is great. That is your learning community. And so this is the voice really coming mostly from them. We don't know who the one administrator is, to be honest. Somebody asked me that. We have no clue. We don't we're not spying on who submits the survey. So let's get to it. What were the leadership qualities, the force rankings when we asked folks taking the survey, what were they really looking for? And atmosphere is trust. This is going to be a common theme. It won't, believe me, it's going to be embedded in this document throughout. Trust is a pivotal piece of the new leader coming in. Forward thinking, I think it's something we've discussed, you've discussed, and came up multiple times in this process. Obviously, somebody who's embracing of the bread and butter of what we do, teaching and learning as public educators. Somebody who's highly present in the community. Again, this will come up multiple times. And if any effective leader can navigate political and/or controversial issues. The personal attributes, right back to it, honest and ethical. So I think that's something we need to keep in mind. So when we do our deep dive into candidates, obviously this is something we will delve deeply into. Somebody who can solve problems, again, somebody approachable and personable, somebody you enjoy having a Diet Pepsi with, and not somebody you're going to avoid. Somebody who's an exceptional communicator in this community, and I think it's fair to say somebody who's an exceptional communicator who's a great orator, and somebody who writes well. Writing sometimes is the forgotten piece of this puzzle, but I'm here to tell you, very important. And obviously, in any great leader is a good listener, arguably a great listener. The experience and expertise, again, force ranking. Somebody who really has a strong expertise in teaching and learning. So somebody who comes to you applying for the job, and there are superintendents that have never taught or never been a principal. That clearly won't happen here because I think it's very clear from the board and from this stakeholder input that is something cherished and respected and demanded, in fact. Understanding of the community, the unique, I call it the microclimate of Hermosa Beach. You are part of the South Bay, but you are not the South Bay. You are Hermosa Beach. And so this document holds true to the fact that superintendent here wouldn't necessarily be a match for a neighboring district. I won't mention districts because you are unique and you have your own context. And then community relations and fiscal management are right there. There's a lot of, I'll just say experts. Can't pronounce the other word. A lot of experts saying the end is near of these nice budgets coming to our schools and our kids and our families. So somebody who's well aware of what's next and can manage a very tight budget. Then the three most favorable conditions. So these are things people feel really good about, and you should feel really good about it, in fact. Students feel valued and connected to their schools. When I read this, I think of my own children, and if I knew this was the value of a school community, I would say my children need to attend here. And in fact, people here are very happy with what the experience their students and their children are receiving. District facilities are clean and well kept. Just to make that clear, that means that you've honored the taxpayers of this community. They have certainly put dollars into their schools, and you've kept them up very nicely, and so kudos to you. School safety, I think you can plop this in any school district. This is a priority, any district USA, 90%, probably as high as most surrounding districts, and I think you do a terrific job of this. Always room for improvement. We're always looking for what's next and what bad thing potentially can happen. And then students receive a high-quality education that prepares them for life and post-secondary, I think is very strong here, so you should feel great about that as well. Now, the engagement session. So this is now the talking part. So now we're moving on from the survey. Now this is what Dr. Rutherford and I learned meeting with the groups that I shared with you. Very well prepared and committed above and beyond staff. This is just bleeds into every piece of our experience in meeting with folks. People really feel that the staff here is cherished. They advocate, they love, they care, that they're in it to win it for kids, and that's what you want to hear. Devoted, generous, supportive parent community. I call this the time and dime. It's not just a community that, let's just say it is affluent, but it's a community that gives the time and volunteers, we saw it tonight, in all things Hermosa Beach City School District. And then a healthy and positive school culture. I love this. This is the kitchen sink for me. Healthy and positive school district culture, inclusive, embracing of all people, all children who arrive, student-focused, laser-like, and safe. And so any potential candidate looking at this list should feel really excited about coming here because those are cherished pieces to a thriving school district. And then district challenges. The first one comes up is concerns regarding adequacy of administrative staffing at schools. We're a smaller school district here, 1,300 kids. The schools are smaller, the district's smaller. It'd be nice just to have a principal, an assistant principal, a couple counselors, a couple TOSAs at each school. We are not the size of a district that is able to provide that. It has been an ongoing chase for this district and many small school districts and small schools. And so the new person coming in can continue to solve this ongoing issue to best staff with administrators each school site. It is a challenge in all small school districts. Resources, programs, services to provide special needs students. This is my third search I have done for superintendents, and I will tell you this comes up everywhere. And we're trying to provide the best services within the means of our resources for the students, all students we serve. And then facilities, adequacy, enrollment, modernization, capacity. This gets back to your growing enrollment. Kudos to you. I don't know where all those kids are coming from, but somehow you're recruiting them, or they're not choosing private schools perhaps, but you have a limit. And so that's something that has come up. You have so many boxes or classrooms, and you have so many students you can house, and you have to look at other means potentially to house those students if your enrollment continues to grow. Now from the business side, that's great news, I get it, but at the same time, that is an ongoing consideration for the new person. Now, getting to the bottom line here. This is the last slide that I'll share with you tonight, and I think this is the meatiest one of all. So what are the desired qualities and characteristics of the next Hermosa Beach City School District? This word came up a lot. A forward-thinking, did we change? Yes, okay. A forward-thinking or progressive leader who embraces whole child education. And whole child, I always tell people, what is that, they say, what does that mean? Somebody who's kind, children who are kind, considerate, empathetic, sympathetic, respect their elders, socially, emotionally balanced, embraces nutrition and health and physical fitness, and children who dominate on any sort of academic assessment. Those are all the pieces we want for our children, which is essentially everything for our children, and that's what is expected in the new leader to bleed and believe. A strong ethic of care for the publics that we serve here, for sure, and a genuine care. I think that came out very clearly from the group. Somebody who's highly visible on campus and in the community, the synergy of school community, so not just somebody who is on campus at all times, but somebody who is seen at all community, but most community high-profile activities. And then somebody who embraces and practices diversity, equity, and inclusion, embracing every child that comes to our campus and believing in those children. Professional yet approachable. It's somebody who is, does it all. It's somebody who walks on water there. Somebody who's intelligent, yet pragmatic. I love that one. I kind of sourced that one together. So somebody who clearly has an IQ and knows what they're doing, but somebody who can apply it to the day-to-day practice, and I think that is going to be a tall task for a new person. Somebody who's competent yet warm. Warmth came up a lot. Somebody who was approachable and warm, that was a repeated word. Continue strong articulation to find school districts next year, Redondo Beach Unified School District in Manhattan Beach, and the continuation of your 8th graders when they leave you, going to either Redondo Union or Manhattan Beach, Maricosta, or as I like to say, they can attend either Harvard or Yale. It's a good gig. Foster positive relations with staff and labor. That's something you have going very, very well, so you should take pride in that. This is one that has 2 meanings, and I enjoy this one the most. It's willing to take a pie in the face. This actually came from a parent too, and we heard it kind of quietly with other groups. Not only somebody that will take the pie in the face or jump in a dunk tank or whatever it is, but somebody that will take a pie in the face and own a mistake that either the district did or he or she did, and not tried to hide behind it or blame somebody else. So that's a 2-parter there, a little ambiguous, but I think the fun I like the fun side, but I also like the side that the person jumps in front of the bus for the team. A leader and a manager, very important visual for you. This is really important for this job, and I've told a few candidates who've called. This, to me, means you have a water line, and above the water line is leadership. It's, maybe they're very charismatic and they're, leading, and hopefully if you look behind them, to have people following them because they're a great leader. But the manager piece is below the water line. It's, one of you said, what is the back room, kind of the work, the meaty work, the technical work. In this job, you don't just have, like I had as a former superintendent, I had 2 assistant soups, a deputy soup, and a bunch of directors. And something would come in and I would just hand it to somebody. I'd just hand it and say, there you go, there you go. When you're superintendent in Hermosa, there's not that many people to hand it to. There's very few. And so this person has to know how to manage too. It's not just being a charismatic leader, and I think that very, very much came out in this process. And then continue to water what has been planted. So another visual I'll give you is you have this beautiful plant that's growing, and it's continued to grow and blossom over the years, even prior to Dr. Johnson. And it was very clear to us that the groups didn't want somebody to come in, grab the plant, put the plant over there, and then plant new plants. In other words, we have a great plant growing, and let's continue to grow it. And so that is the stakeholder input that I wanted to share with you, and I will welcome any questions. Before that, I do want to remind you that on Monday, Dr. Rutherford and I will be meeting with you in closed session to talk, candidates. And on the 29th and 30th are the 2 days of our interviews. And so we will be coming back to you sooner rather than later. And I do want to tell you, to the community, we have some very, very promising candidates. This is, again, a coveted position people want.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keller. Any questions from my colleagues?
I have a process question. Dr. Keller, thanks so much for the attention you and Dr. Rutherford's put into this process. I know from stakeholders, they've really appreciated the chance to talk with you. Will this document go online? Where does this document live next?
This is a great question, and we are going to put it online as early as tonight or tomorrow morning, as soon as we can do it. I think that is one piece I would like to add to you for those candidates. And the deadline closed Monday at 5 p.m. for folks applying for this job. The folks that called us ahead of time before they applied, we shared this document with them in draft form because it was a kind of a work in progress. So the far majority of the candidates that are seriously being considered have this document as well. But just as a refresher to the community from this report and to the folks that could be applying or did apply, I should say, this document will now breathe on your website.
Thank you. Doug, comments, questions, Kathy?
I'm looking forward to the process because I'm a newbie, so I'm looking forward to working with you. And since Jason ditched us, we're going to find a better replacement, just saying.
I'm a newbie.
I concur.
I'm a newbie as well, not to hiring, but to superintendent hiring. And just wanted to say thank you to ESS for all the work that you've done, in particular how responsive you've been. We had an aspiration to move quickly. We knew that Dr. Johnson was in a process, so we weren't surprised, but we still, when the news broke, we had to move quickly, and we were able to, thanks to you guys. So we really, really appreciate your ability to be nimble. We're excited about the prospect of a great candidate pool, and we feel confident that we offer a really, really great value proposition for those candidates. This is a district that is just moving in the right direction on just about every metric you can imagine, from enrollment to academic outcomes to social emotional well-being to financial. So we feel really great about our district and are looking forward to making another, potentially bold choice like we did 4 years ago, and bringing somebody in who can continue to drive that positive momentum and be open to change and open to continuing to do great things, because we have big aspirations. So thank you very much. And to those who are watching, we look forward to meeting you.
You did a great job letting them know of the expectations. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Have I lost my spot here? No, it is. Okay, R 3623/24, the LCAP budget presentation. This is where it gets exciting. Ms. Gluck and Ms. Montalvo.
Tonight, we are here to share the LCAP update for the 23-24 school year, and we will also present our new 2024 LCAP, which will guide our district with actionable goals and services for the next 3 years. Additionally, we will provide financial review illustrating how the budget is intricately tied to 3 prominent goals addressing inclusion, excellence, and community. Hermosa's LCAP is closely aligned with the district's strategic plan, vision, and mission, ensuring a focused approach to empowering students to achieve and thrive. We will be reviewing the annual update, and we'll be going over our new LCAP. Our local indicators will be in the appendices of this presentation. The Hermosa 21-24 LCAP was developed during the era of distance learning and COVID-19. It's coming to a closure. The annual updates for 23-24 school year, the final year of this LCAP, will review current data, successes, challenges, and how the information is reflected in our current educational practices. When viewing Goal 1, equity and inclusion, various metrics were used to develop the actions in goal, and you can see those metrics that we've collected. Successes and challenges were presented within the grid and are represented in a narrative form in the 23-24 update. Reflection on the data, action, and goals translates to an augmented programming and support for our new 2024 LCAP, which will be in effect until 2027. Changes which are highlighted in the bottom right corner are a preview of what is to come and what is included in our new LCAP. For Goal 2, our culture of excellence is directly correlated with academic achievement of our students, both as a whole and through the lens of various demographic groups. Areas to be highlighted, we did the implementation of iReady, which was utilized as a district diagnostic tool to measure student growth over 3 years. This was new to our district, and we implemented this during COVID. And our equity and inclusion dashboard, which provided transparency to our school community during distance learning and when statewide assessments were suspended. We're still using it, and it's a tool that we use all the time. Community is our third goal for the 23-24 LCAP, and this is an area where we've met several of our metrics. During the time the LCAP was written, the district was facing a deficit in the average daily attendance with declining enrollment. The 21-24 LCAP has put in place several parameters with goals and actions, redefining our educational program and branding Hermosa as destination schools within the city, which has boosted our enrollment to 1338. So that concludes the portion of our LCAP annual update, and now we are going to review the new LCAP requirements for the state of California and our new LCAP. So we're transitioning to the 24-27 LCAP, which I'm dubbing Hermosa's 2.0 LCAP, as it continues to align with our strategic plan and focuses on improving student outcomes. The next few slides will highlight new requirements implemented, how our community partners participated in the process, the development of the 3 goals, and how contributing actions are being defined. Here's a snapshot of our district of where it was at when we wrote our LCAP. This information was collected in October. As you can see, we do not have a very high unduplicated population. So the LCAP did put some new requirements into place, which has changed how we're writing the LCAP in a few areas. Most prominently is the reflection on the annual performance. So any school, student group within a district, or student group within a school that receives the lowest performance level on one or more state indicators on the 2023 dashboard. So if you do have a group that is affected, you do have to write a goal for that, and you have to have actions with that. And then we still continue to have district-wide and school-wide and limited actions for our unduplicated student groups, and those are specifically targeted. Can you hit slide, please? Based on the California dashboard, Hermosa's areas of focus is related to chronic absenteeism, which is defined as a student who is absent more than 10% of the school year. 3 subgroups were defined in our California dashboard. As a result, the district has developed a target and actions related to attendance for the next 3 years. We are required to monitor this action, and moving forward, any performance within the California dashboard under the red section will require additional actions focusing on improving performance. Slide, please. Every LCAP includes goals, actions, and related expenditures targeting major student groups. The new change to the LCAP regarding subgroups involves a more focused approach to addressing the performance and needs of specific student groups that have demonstrated lower performance and levels on state indicators. Community input is an important and critical component of the LCAP process, ensuring that voices of all educational partners are considered in the planning and implementation of actions and services. Community input includes parent and student engagement, educational partner outreach to groups that are underrepresented, public meetings and hearings, advisory committees, review of draft LCAP, response for input, and annual update. So based on all the input, you can view here, these are new items that we're adding into our LCAP 2.0. We're really excited to see a lot of these items come to fruition and be implemented into our educational program. So goal 1 will continue with inclusion, awareness, and capacity, and we will still work on improving the achievement and wellness of our students. We are required to address state priorities. All 8 state priorities must be included in our LCAP, and this specific goal, we have 4 priorities listed. So goal 1 is aimed at enhancing the performance across diverse metrics. We have 13 action items that are tied to the area of inclusion. And this goal encompasses achievement, culturally responsive schools, and social emotional wellness. As for goal 2, we are going to continue focusing on a culture of excellence, and we're going to focus on the academic achievements, and we're going to continue to use that 3% baseline to make growth for our students, and that will be our target. And you can see the 3 state priorities that we've included in this goal. Our district is dedicated to maintaining a standardized system of professional development, strategically designed to support and enhance high-quality standards based on instruction. We have 10 action items for Goal 2, and this initiative is aimed at boosting academic results for all student and student groups. We will continue to focus on a culture of excellence, personalized learning, and our signature programs. As for goal 3, our community goal, we've done an excellent job with this and we'll continue to expand on the goal. Some key differences with this goal compared to the last LCAP is we are just trying to shoot for enrollment of 1450, continue to work on our master plan and work with our business partners. Hermosa schools are committed to improving the basic services for students by maintaining all district facilities to ensure that they're safe, clean, and well-maintained and in good repair, thus fostering an optimal learning environment. By showcasing our district's modern facilities and emphasizing our educational programming through strategic marketing, the district aims to increase enrollment. We have 9 actions tied to this goal. We will continue to focus on community and alumni engagement, financial stewardship, and the state-of-the-art facilities. I'm going to turn it over to Paula.
Hi, I'm here just to share a little highlights of the 24-25 proposed budget. Is it working or not? There we go. Here, when you look at the graph on the screen on the left-hand side, it showcases total funding that we will be receiving this year, which is a little over $20 million. Highlighted on the right-hand side is the LCFF funding, which is a little over $15 million. And then you see that small slice in the pie. That's $281,000 that's directed to our intervention program and our ELD program. Total budgeted expenditures in the LCAP are $17.5 million. So we have $17.5 million supporting the goals and actions that the board has directed, that stakeholders have said are important to the district. Total budgeted expenditures are a little over $21 million. We always like to take a look at our pie chart to see where we're at. It continues to show us that the lion's share of our budget is spent on staffing. Here's our multi-year projection. Just take a minute to glance over it. I want to draw our attention to the budget is built on projected enrollment of 1440. We are projected to close the school year with a strong reserve of 25%, leaving the district fiscally solvent for the current year and the next 3 years. Do I have any questions?
Questions from any of my colleagues? Can, just back on slide 23, if we could go back for a second, for those in the audience, I wouldn't, pointing at myself first of all, who are not deep technical wizards in the language of education budgeting, what is the difference between budgeted general fund expenditures and budgeted LCAP expenditures?
So 17.5 million are actually tied to a goal that's listed in the LCAP. The difference between the two is operating expenditures, maintenance, service contracts, utilities, all those fees.
Okay, so 21 is the total that we expect to spend. 17.5 is tied to identified LCAP goals.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. The last section of the superintendent report and board discussions is item R3723/24, the 23-24 HBCSD annual goal report. Dr. Johnson.
Thank you. All right. Always exciting to come to the end of the school year and see, hey, how did we do? So we're going to take a quick snapshot through our annual goals. And tonight we'll be proud to propose our 24-25 annual goals that the board has been working on since January. All right. Everything is tied to our 3 goals of community inclusion and excellence. And here we go for a deep dive on how we did on each of them. In the area of community partnership, where we do our outreach to our communities and our businesses, do a little bit better each year. As I mentioned earlier today, HBF raised $1.5 million. That's up 17% from last year. When families are happy, the community is happy, they like to give. So good stuff. We met with the Tri-Agency Committee, that's Beach City's health district in the city, and we had a great opportunity to share all those successes as listed. We're very excited about our slow e-bike campaign. We'll have a banner up over July across Pier Avenue, which will be great. And then you see those signs around campus. And then we are proud to, again, be the first in the South Bay to have the e-bike certification to park your bike on campus. There you see a bunch of educational partnerships. The one I'd just like to highlight is this year we took a big leap with TK, bringing in the Frog Street curriculum. A lot of that had to do with our network and a lot of inroads that Sylvia made about building partnerships with folks, because not a lot of folks do TK full day. Register today. All right, there we go. Enrollment. Enrollment. Like I'd like to tell our team, 1,430 students, up 7% from 23-24. Wow. California state average is clocking in about a -1% these days. At the same time last year, same time in June, we had 1,280 students registered for the 23-24 school year. So that's quite a jump. Nice job. I love that picture of Maggie trying to spray me down in her yard. We took like 1 million photos of that, trying to get like the right something, the right chaos. The stat that I'm most proud of each and every school year is the Net Promoter Score, which is parents basically being asked, would you recommend our schools to another family? And we continue to score in the range of great and improve for the 3rd consecutive year. Great job, all-time high. Okay, in the area of increasing funding and continuing to invest in our facilities, we have been working diligently on exploring the facilities bond. Resolution is before the board this evening. We had a great opportunity to meet with community and hear their feedback. We learned a lot from listening to our community. I think there's a lot of adjustments and good feedback that we want to make based off of having those conversations. And the 5-year master plan was released in August 2023. We actually just recently received the facilities master plan from Studio W, so looking forward to sharing that with the board and the public. And we're going strong here. And look at those pretty pictures. Okay, culture of excellence. There's a lot of data thrown up. So right now we do, the great state of California has not released the official state testing data yet. However, we have unofficial scores, and we wanted to share them with our board. So there you see in the area of ELA and math, we're about, I would say, flat. I mean, like that we pretty much met the same metric that we did last year. Our goal is to improve, and so we're looking forward to breaking down subgroup data. We have the COVID, we have a cohort data that we shared here. I won't go deeply into it. This presentation is going to be given once the official scores are released, and we'll take a deeper dive into this data, but we wanted to give you the headline. And then finally, our attendance improved. Our principals, we all worked really hard. We made some adjustments. We went from 94 to 95% in our ADA. So good job, team. All right, in the area of professional development, just to highlight a few, instructional rounds were a hit this year. We're really proud that we're implementing instructional rounds. We still have a ways to go, and part of that is just making sure that it's taking hold on each of our campuses. Next year, instructional rounds will be something that everyone has the opportunity to do. This year we did it by volunteers. We had a lot of volunteers participate, especially Hermosa Valley leading the way. And then on our professional development survey, there you see every year we have our staff give us feedback. We build our professional developments. I always say participate in the survey because we build our professional development around that feedback. So on the scale of usefulness, we changed the scale a little bit this year.
we moved to a 1 to 4 scale because we're like, hey, no middle of the road. Tell us if you liked it or you didn't. I mean, like we wanted a more blunt tool instrument. So we're about a 2.9. We want to get into that 3 range for success. And I do find this interesting that the most requested professional development for 24-25, artificial intelligence. All right, continuing on, expanding and increasing student experiences in the classroom. So we are doing a music program reboot. We're expanding elementary Spanish to the 3rd grade. In the extracurriculars, I think 2 really cool programs that launched this year was the Green Team over at Hermosa Vista and Model UN at Hermosa Valley. I know that they're going to try to continue Model UN, though the great Tammy Heath is leaving us. And of course, we opened preschool this year, 2 classes, and we're looking to open that 3rd for the fall, and TBD on that. We're almost there. In the area of equity and inclusion, always trying to increase our achievement for at-risk learners. There you see the kind of the reverse of the headline scores. The reason we like to look at this because we want to know how many kids we need to work with, and where we're not making it and where we think we can do better. This one is hard to give feedback on because we usually do use the subgroup data in order to break down this area. So we're still eagerly awaiting that data, looking forward to it. But I did want to highlight on our panorama score, we increased 5% from the 22-23 results. A lot of our student wellness efforts seem to be having a statistical impact. And then, was that a single clap right there? That was good, okay. All right, in the area of equity and inclusion, continuing to promote, this is where, are we engaging in the classroom? Are we providing those diverse and equitable experiences? There you see that our results from the diversity and inclusion survey, students expressed favorably, about the same in that area comparative. We have had a lot of success. I give a big special thanks to Ms. Heathers and Ms. Cedarquist. They are just awesome. They provide monthly lessons and themes for each month for teachers to implement in their classroom. And then finally, our PBIS system has been implemented on all 3 campuses, and at Hermosa Valley, we are in the running for an award. So looking forward to learning if we receive that reward in the fall. Oh, there's Mark. This is, again, sorry, stumbling on my words. Creating a supportive or healthy community for our students and staff, and these are all the various initiatives that take place. I know the board had asked for some data around our counseling participation, so there you see some of our stats district-wide. I want to highlight, we had out of the Wellness Council, Pamela Cuppers has so many resources about body image and healthy lifestyles, and so we did a body image assembly at Hermosa Valley, something we're going to continue. I think it's a really important subject that we heard from our students on the Wellness Council. Participation mapping, where we asked students about how they're engaged in extracurriculars outside of school, gave us great feedback. Our counselors were able to use that feedback in order to connect with kids. And then just on the staff wellness side, something that we launched as an experiment this year was staff counseling. It was very successful. We had full signups every single time that we did it. So that's something we'd like to continue going into next year. Thank you, and at this point, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Looking at my colleagues, any questions, Kathy?
I'm good, thank you.
Doug? Maggie?
I know we have our goals as, thanks so much for that presentation, Dr. Johnson. I think it was really thorough and a lot of information for us to process and think about moving forward. And one of the questions that comes to my mind is if we have hit hard enough in our goals moving forward off of the academics, based off of the charts and the data, both in this report and in the data we received off of the SBAC ELA South Bay wide. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for crunching all that data. That was Herculean and really informative. And I know one of the charts isn't up on the slide there, but it looks like we're doing a pretty good job off of the SBAC ELA results, that report we had received from our middle school. We seem to be leading across our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade across the South Bay, but several percentage points lower when we look at the elementaries. And that correlates with the iReady data that you shared in this cultural of excellence doc on slide 6, where by cohort our cohorts are moving backwards in terms of their CASP readiness. So I'm curious if we should be relooking at these goals to see if we need to do something before we vote on this right now, to make sure that we're focused on culture of excellence. If we keep talking about a 3 to 5% improvement growth every year, we're going backwards in some of these categories, and I don't think I don't know if our priorities are aligned with where we're saying we're trying to do this. So I'm opening that up to you, to the board, for conversation.
Yeah, that was a lot there. So on the headline, which is, should we not approve our goals tonight in order to relook? I don't believe that the board is going to come to an intervention or a top-down sort of suggestion within July to August to make change that we have continued to work on for the last 4 years. So I would give yourself the space and the opportunity to allow for a new superintendent to come in. I would also allow for the subgroup data to be released so we can actually see the ins and outs of how our students perform by demographic, particularly in the area of special education, which has been a focus. And I would also acknowledge that there are a lot of efforts that we are leaning into that we do believe are having positive impacts, such as the Foundations program that was launched just this year in our K through 2 classrooms, and then moving up to 3rd grade, as well as that this year will be a pilot year for our ELA curriculum that we'll be exploring. And then we're also leaning in on moving towards reading specialists versus the after-school intervention. So as the superintendent survey showed, I think that it's important that you continue to water the plant. I mean, like, you have a TK in kinder class that has received new Frog Street instruction along with Foundations and full day TK and K programming, and those kids are still moving up to testing years. So a lot of our efforts that we've planted, I think, deserve the opportunity to grow without a snap decision here over the course of summer.
I think there's some noise in the day. When I look at it, you can look at it in terms of cohorts, or you can look at it in terms of grade levels, and you can get slightly mixed signals. I mean, in some cases, when I look at it, it looks to me like there's a grade level that isn't performing, as well. There seem to be, drops at, say, like 3rd grade or something like that. And we saw that in the past. And I've seen some really good growth here, for example, in 6th grade. I know that was a concern in past years, and there's been a focus and attention on it. Kudos to the 6th grade team, and there seems to be real progress there. So I wouldn't react too quickly. I think I do know we've been doing stuff, and it will take time to work its way through. But I think, we're a very data-driven board. We'll continue to be a data-driven board with a new superintendent, and we're going to want to keep looking at this stuff and to Maggie's point, address whether or not the goals make sense given the trends. So I think that's a really good question, Maggie. I don't know if the goals should change. I certainly wouldn't want to lower our aspirations because there's a couple of blips in the data set that may not be blips, they may be real. But it wouldn't lead me to want to lower our aspirations and say we don't want to grow by 3%. We just may need to look at it really closely and make sure that the goals we're setting we think are realistic in future.
And I just want to build on Maggie's point, just for the public that are watching, because there is data that we've looked at across the South Bay for the last 4 years of performance, and really post-COVID. And when we compare, we don't compare to the state. We don't even compare ourselves to the county. We really do compare ourselves with South Bay. And it is a question actually that Maggie and I have talked about. We've wrestled with is our aspirational growth, is it realistic? You mean like for a district that's already high performing? The answer is I actually concur with you, Quentin, that we should be modeled off of a growth, and even if that growth isn't hitting its targets district-wide, by cohort, right? Like that's, or even by students that are at risk, that are falling below. You mean like reaching 3 to 5%, I think is still a good marker. And to Maggie's point, it should be assessed each year
if this is, you mean like the right growth, because we do want to set goals, you mean like that are attainable. That's important for the morale of staff and for our students. And so if, you have a goal that you're consistently not making, you mean like, can that actually be disincentivized? You mean like having a goal-based culture? So I think that both points are true. And I would also just note that the thing that I think we're wrestling with is that data across the South Bay for the last 4 years, if you look district by district, has been relatively flat. And so this offers up questions about the assessment, and sort of where districts are, and is there a potential ceiling, that we're running into by CAS, particularly because we use iReady as performance data, and our data has not been flat via iReady. So I think it just offers up more time for analysis to understand.
I just want to clarify my point. I am not suggesting lowering the goals for achievement. My point was, should we be removing other goals so the team has better capacity to focus in on academics, which are being stagnated?
Yeah, and I just would, to build upon that a lot of our goals are related to extracurriculars, and to pathways and capacity. And I would encourage the board to not overemphasize the state test. The state test is an opportunity to reflect on, are we meeting end of year progress? How are students doing in relation to where are we going to support individual students and small student groups next year who are not meeting standard? We are talking about, to some extent, right? Certain subgroups of students, that very much they fall into a demographic area such as students with special needs, and it's always going to be a struggle to get that student to meet standard. There are school districts, of course, in the county and even in the South Bay. Keep in mind that we are about third in performance overall, and we're missing it by an inch of being number 2 in performance. There are many districts I would kill to have the performance that we do. So I wouldn't want us to lose sight of things such as artificial intelligence, or our focus on pathways, or those broader activities. Not that that's being suggested, but I do think that the reason that parents choose Hermosa schools is because of that breadth of opportunity and whole child experiences is a priority, and we don't teach to the test. We teach to the student, we teach to the whole child.
Any other thoughts or questions? A very good clarification, Maggie. And the follow-up question I would have that maybe we should ask, in a few months or past that of the new superintendent and leadership is, do you think there are goals that are impeding our ability to make progress on goals that we may consider the most important?
I think that's a fair question.
Yeah. All right, thank you. With that, I think we can move on to the consent items. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. All in favor of passing the consent items?
Aye.
Aye. They are hereby passed. Thank you. Next, moving on to board action. The first item there, S41-23/24, Proposition 28. Ms. Gluck.
It is recommended that the Board of Education adopt and approve the 23-24 Proposition 28 Annual Report, 2024 Proposition 28 Plan for Hermosa View School, the 2024 Proposition 28 Plan for Hermosa Vista School, and the 24 Proposition 28 Plan for Hermosa Valley School.
Any questions from my colleagues? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Maggie, for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed. Moving to item S42-23/24, approval of governance calendar. Dr. Johnson.
Thanks. Approval is recommended. We made a few minor tweaks, but I think we have the calendar sort of right where we want it these days. We did a pretty good overhaul last year, and I thank you. I just also want to note kudos to the board and their commitment and time to creating goals, doing the workshops. It's a big commitment. You do more than the average board, so thank you.
All right. With that buttering up, does anybody have any questions? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Governance calendar is approved. Next item, S 4323/24, 24-25 annual goals.
I'm going to keep that buttering up going. So kudos to the board for working very diligently and hard to come up with the annual goals. I would put these goals up against any school district. The level of detail and the time, it is a huge commitment. It's probably about 20 hours on behalf of the board and special meetings to work through this and come to it via budget, programming, and just overall governance. Approval is recommended. Thank you.
Any questions from any of my colleagues? All right. I'll just say that, I'm having been through this 4 years now, I feel like we've got a really strong kind of and clear foundation and, a good base to hand over to kind of new leadership. And I feel really good about that. So I appreciate Dr. Johnson for leading us through that and thank my colleagues for participating as well. So with that, may I have a motion to approve the annual goals?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you for the second, Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Next item, S 23/24, resolution number 12, ordering an election and establishing specifications of the election order. Dr. Johnson?
Yep. I want to say a big thank you to the community during our community partner sessions and the small groups and the outreach that we've had. It's been great to get feedback and hear from our partners and our community members and our parents about whether that going with this school facilities improvement was the right move. And it seems like based off that feedback and the poll data, 66% approval, that it is. So approval is recommended.
Dr. Johnson, just to be clear, there's a little bit of confusion in my mind. This is not about spots on the board. This is about the bond, right?
That is correct.
And just so I'm clear, we need to pass this if we intend to go ahead by August 9th, right?
That's correct.
I know there was some community conversation going on about just the content of it, and I think there was a little bit of, bad assumptions or misinformation floating around about that, and we had hoped to have some community meetings. I don't know what my colleagues think. There might be a virtue in holding this vote after we've had those community meetings, just so as not to give the perception that somehow that input was not part of the process. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts or input on this?
Are we talking about additional community meetings?
Not
than the ones that we had
I
in
think we were
April?
talking about just community meetings. They might be coffee chats, they might be at people's houses, those kinds of things. What's pertinent here is whether or not we ought to be voting on this tonight and passing it. And because if we pass it, we're saying, hey, this is going to go on the ballot in November, which I think is our intention. But we don't have to make that, we don't have to do that vote right now, is what I'm saying, right?
That is correct.
Sorry about that. Recalling from the 2 community meetings we had back in April, those were proposal information conversations that happened with the community. With that, the overview of the needs, the master planning that went into it, the polling data, and then the amount of money estimated for each of the things. So looking at the project list off of Exhibit B, so just to break this down for the board for conversation, right? The first 3 pages of it are the resolution, all the whereases, right, which is just the standard language that we put into bond resolutions that follow ed code and follow all the different election codes that we need to do that with. And then moving into the exhibit pages of it is where, the kind of the meat of the resolution where people get interested in having conversations. And so the first part is Exhibit A. So I would have just the board be encouraged to read the exhibit. That's what gets published in the ballot pamphlet right? So I could read it if nobody has it in front of them, but it's in our agenda, right? So all of that is pretty standard, and it also provides a lot of room of conversation for not only this board, but future boards to be able to take that with community input and implement a project off of it in terms of new science labs, safety, security, ADA improvements, upgrading inadequate electrical, renovating modernized outdated classrooms and restrooms, right? No new increase in current tax rates, but extending up in order to raise $2 million annually, right? Up to $28 million. So like all of that is what would be voted on, and that was clear. I don't think the community at any of the meetings I was a part of had any disagreement with the actual ballot language. So going down into the exhibits where it looks at the full ballot text proposition, the project list is, I think, where most of the community had questions about what was being proposed and was not voted on in any specific issues. But, like, what could a field improvement look like? Would it have a track? Would it have new playgrounds? What could those playgrounds look like? There was a lot of conversations around that. Looking at the safety and security, what were the different recommendations by safety officials in terms of making the Valley campus a more safe experience? So I think there was like curiosity, but I don't think the project list as it reads in the agenda it would be a surprise to any of the community members from the conversations we've had since that point. I'd be comfortable on voting on this now, but I think, I really do think the board just needs to have a conversation. Like, is this project list, and let's look at these 9 pieces on here, is this what we want? Is the ballot language what we want? Because that has been where past community discrepancies have been raised.
Thanks, Maggie. I think there's a process and a content thing. So I think content-wise, I agree with you. I think the ballot language I feel really, really good about. The project list, and I think some of the feedback we've gotten from the community would suggest that there's still some debate going on out there. And I don't know, the vast majority of the input I've heard has been very positive. But I think, some of the folks who helped lead Measure S, successful Measure S, their advice was to make sure that we've done the outreach to the community before we've sort of voted, because that vote sort of signals not a closing of the agenda, but sort of a forceful move ahead, and that if we were to sort of do a little bit more community engagement before doing the vote, that might, from a kind of a process point of view, feel like we were being more responsive to community input. So I don't know that any of the project list items would change, but we had a public comment tonight on the issue of, grass versus turf, and I think there may be the misperception out there that, we've decided that we're going to go one direction or another, when in reality, the bond language has been written so that there is some flexibility, so that those kinds of things can still get input, probably up to and after a bond, even should it pass. There would still be room for some debate and discussion on that. So I'm comfortable with the content. I really am. I wonder if it would be smart for us to push this a few weeks into July, maybe have this vote in our July 10th meeting, when we've had that chance for a little bit more of that community outreach, make sure that we have heard and have genuinely listened to the community and responded to their concerns. It may result, I suspect it may result in no changes to any of this language, but it would be a good signal to the community that we were solicitous of their input.
I'd be really curious to hear from the rest of the board, because some of the questions I received are like, if you're looking at putting a restroom on the blacktop of Valley campus, is that going to be open 24 hours and invite a homeless population? And the answer to that is no, right? With all our facilities, when we have facility use rentals, there is a staff member who is assigned to the campus, and those restrooms would be open to the facility use recipient. But to get to your point, Quentin, like, we're at June 20th, so that leaves next week. For all intensive purposes, the week of July 1st is off for a lot of people, either due to lack of childcare or travel or some other piece. And so that gives you 3 days the following week. And I logistically don't know how we would have a formal community conversation, which then would be, I don't know where that puts us. So just like logistically, like I'm happy to wait till July 10th, but if it's to hold a community meeting, that needs to be figured out tonight, since we lose our superintendent in 7 days.
Yeah, I'm thinking more informal community meetings, like friends of the district inviting friends over to their house to talk to them, and we might be invited to provide information, not a formal district-sponsored, publicly announced meeting. But I hear you, even an informal one, the logistics are tight. The point of view has been expressed that, we ought not to rush and that we ought to give space for community input. So I'm just airing that view and eager and interested in hearing Doug's and Kathy's as well as your input.
So my question, if we approve the resolution tonight, we're not approving all the content of all the things. So we're saying that we want to go forward with a bond, correct?
We're saying we're going to go forward with a bond with this language, with the language that's in the text, that's in our packet.
I think it's just important to note, that traditionally, especially if you look at Measure S language, the project list is very broad. And that's because the rule is that you cannot do anything that is not named on the project list, but you don't have to do the entire project list. So these project lists do tend to be wrote pretty broad. I would actually describe our list as pretty specific in comparison to Measure S, and I do think the facilities improvement has been approached that way, that we have specific improvements that we want to make. But that does not marry, the district and the community to all the things that are described here, because they are purposely written broad. Because here's the thing, if a bond were passed in November 2024, we wouldn't even secure the remaining funds of our bond until probably the earliest 2028. So this project, like Measure S, is going to take years to accomplish and needs change. So you just want to make sure that you have a comprehensive list that helps you work within the parameters, while at the same time too anticipating future needs.
That's just my question. If we approve the resolutions today saying that we want to go forward with the bond on this November election, correct?
All it does is it gets a bond put on the November election with this language. And to Jason's point, this language is
all-encompassing.
Well, yeah, it's actually fairly specific, and we can't go outside the bounds of that language, but we think that language encompasses everything we could want to do, but it still gives us plenty of room to make adjustments within that list.
Absolutely, and again, I can't emphasize enough that the feedback from the community, which has been very rich, and very specific about project listed, can very much still be taken into account and implemented, not just between now and the election, but also after the election as the projects are built. How do I know that? Well, I was not part of passing Measure S at all, but I was definitely the guy that made it come to fruition. And I look back on the project list, and a lot had evolved, because of the needs, just starting with that there was an international pandemic taking place as the schools were being built.
Doug, any thoughts? Do you want to vote on this tonight, or do you want to wait?
I think if we're going to do this, we need to do it now. Waiting is a mistake.
I would also think it signals to leadership coming into this district that this is something the board is responding to based off of facility needs. These are not, all of these things that have been put into this list are based off of a facilities master plan that has shown that we need to invest in the public facilities in order to keep making the best investment in students and teachers. So by having efficient facilities usage, we save those dollars and put them into classrooms. So for me, I'm thinking in my head, actually, to the point that Jason was making, we voted in March of 2016 for Measure S, and we didn't break ground until 2019.
2019, yeah.
Right? So there was a solid amount of time that we were having those conversations with the community, with additional community forums, looking at design, layout. And so I want to make sure that the community feels heard, that passing the bond is not closing a door on design functions. We are saying these are the needs, and there is a consensus that comes around in terms of how it will impact our students.
If I may, Quentin. Yeah, and I just, as the outgoing superintendent here, I want to attest that is very real, because I lived it. That community input continued all 4 years that I was in construction, and I will give the board credit that this is a board that took that community input very seriously ongoing, and there were a lot of adjustments made, you mean like in response to community feedback. So I do feel that we're in good hands here, that this is a town, you mean like, that is very supportive but has expectations, and I feel like that we've been doing that the last 4 years successfully, and I know that we will continue to do so.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad we had the conversation. Do we have a motion to vote on this measure?
I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you for the second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. All right. Moving to business.
Can I ask just a quick follow-up?
Please.
When are we going to put the resolution to adopt elections for the 2 upcoming board seats?
You already did that
Did we already do that last board meeting?
last one or the one before?
I believe so, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Okay.
Maggie, we'll go in a board update and just, yeah, we'll just verify.
Yeah, I kind of paid attention to that one. Of all the things.
All right. Next item is business B 161-23/24. Adopt resolution number 13. Authorized signature resolution. Dr. Johnson.
Yep, it's self-explanatory. Approval is recommended.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Maggie, for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item B 162-23/24, Resolution 14, authorization on temporary borrowing between funds. We're going to move fast. Ms.
Okay.
Montalvo.
Adoption is recommended for the resolution to temporarily transfer cash between funds if there's a cash flow shortage.
Any questions? Motion.
I do. We do this one annually, correct? This is
Yes,
the
it's a
safeguard for-
compliance
yeah.
piece, yeah.
So moved.
Thank you, Doug. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item, B 163, Resolution 15, temporary transfers from the LA County Treasury. Ms. Montalvo.
Thank you. Adoption is recommended for Resolution 15-2324 to temporarily borrow funds from the Los Angeles County Treasurer. There's a cash flow shortage.
This is also routine, right?
Yes.
Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Second
Second.
from Doug. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed. B 164-2324, Resolution 16, authorization on cash transfers between funds for the 24-25 school year. Ms. Montalvo.
Adoption is recommended for cash transfers between funds. This is also a compliance piece.
Can I have a motion, unless there's any questions?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item, 165, termite/23/24, termite fumigation at Hermosa Valley and View Schools under Resolution 17 in the matter of California Uniform Public Construction Cost. Ms. Montalvo.
Approval is recommended for the contract. The winner of the bid is Rome's Rely on Mom's Electrical Services for fumigation services at Hermosa Valley and Hermosa View.
Any questions on this item?
Is there anything these guys don't do?
No.
All right. I have a motion on this one.
So moved.
Thank you, Doug. Can I have a second? Thank you, Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. B 166-2324, purchase of heating and ventilation units under Resolution 17 in the matter of the uniform public construction cost. Ms. Montalvo.
Yes, approval is recommended for the proposal from Modern Air to purchase and install 2 new energy-efficient HVAC units for the Hermosa Valley MPR.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. B167, smoke hatch replacement under Resolution 17. Ms. Montalvo.
Approval is recommended for the quote from Beano Construction to replace the vandalized, damaged smoke hatch above the NPR at Hermosa Valley School. This will also fall under the CUPCA program, but this is also a reimbursement from our property liability insurance.
Okay. Any questions on that item? Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy.
Second.
Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item passes. 168, B168, contract school bus transportation service for field trips. Ms. Gluck.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the contract with Bus American Transportation System to provide school bus transportation services when kids go.
Any questions, colleagues? Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathy. Second. Thank you, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to personnel, the last two items. P40-2324, declaration of need for fully qualified educators. Dr. Johnson.
Don't want anyone to be alarmed. This is a pretty routine item, and we have very highly qualified teachers. This is something we do every year to declare a need for fully qualified, just to cover all our bases. But we have great qualified teachers. I'd put them to the test against anybody. Approval is recommended.
This gives us the right to hire short-term staff?
Yes, you mean like, and there are some areas such as like teacher librarian services, for example, where we contract with Redondo Beach in order to utilize the services of their credentialed librarian. Housing a credentialed librarian in Hermosa makes no sense, but the law does not give us a parameter to not do that.
Got it. Thank you. Any questions? Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for the second, Maggie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. P41-2324, administrative employment transaction for new position and salary schedule for Executive Director of Administrative Services. Dr. Johnson.
Yes, very pleased and proud to make this recommendation of the approval of the new job description and salary for the Executive Director of Administrative Services, Sylvia Gluck, and I will defer to you, Quentin, for the readout of compensation.
All right. Item P41-23/24 on the agenda is approval of a proposed contract of employment for Sylvia Gluck as Executive Director of Administrative Services. The contract provides for employment for a 4-year term from June 1st, 2024 to, is that June 1st or should we say July 1st?
It should be, I don't have the readout, so I apologize.
I'm going to say June 1st, but it might be July 1st.
Probably should be June 30th, because that's the
30th?
end of the contract year.
Okay. To June 30th, 2028, unless terminated sooner with the following compensation terms. Annual base salary rate of $168,000 in the first year, $173,040 in the second year, $178,231 in the third year, $183,578 in the fourth year. The base salary to be increased by the same percentage increase afforded to other district certificated management employees for the 24-25 school year and subsequent school years. Health and welfare benefits on the same terms as provided to other district management employees, $75 monthly cell phone stipend, $750 master stipend, payment of dues to the Association of California Administrators, and other fringe benefits as provided to other certificated management employees of the district. End quote. So that is the resolution we are voting on, I believe. Is there anything else? Any questions?
Well deserved.
I was just going to say, Mary, very well deserved.
Yes, we very much appreciate you, Ms. Gluck. All right, may I have a motion then?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, with a second to Doug, and a third to Maggie, and a fourth to me.
Unanimous.
All in favor? Aye. Great. All right, with that, we move to board member roundtable. And we've got about 90 seconds to have Dinah win the pot.
I have one thing. I know we're going to do a big thing on Monday, but I will not be here on Monday. So I wanted to take a moment to just thank Dr. Jason Johnson for his 4 incredible years of service to the Hermosa Beach City School District. You like to say that we took a chance on you, but we knew that you were the guy. Like, you were the guy and you proved us right. You were the right guy. You have worked tirelessly for this district and you've brought us to heights I don't think those of us who were on the board then thought we could be brought to. You know, we've told you repeatedly to spend more time with your family. You didn't listen to us. And you just kept working and working and working. And all of us up here, all of us in the room, all of us at home and watching will be eternally grateful for what you've done for this district. So thank you. That's all.
Thanks, Doug. Maggie, anything for roundtable?
I'll save my accolades for Monday. Looking forward to just reviewing next week any interim plans we need in place for contract signing once Dr. Johnson's departure happens.
Great.
Yeah, and we'll get to work on working on an interim plan between my departure on June 30th and the hiring of the new superintendent July 10th. Specifically, I think there'll be more information once you guys have decided on your new superintendent about that timeline as well too.
Mm-hmm. Great. Kathy, any comments?
I will be here on Monday as well, but I do want to thank Dr. Johnson. It's weird saying that. It's rather than Jason Johnson, but he taught me everything about governance. I read the book that he recommended. We went to the school board conference together. I learned tons and tons and tons, and I owe it to you. Thank you.
Great. On a sort of tangentially related item, this is probably, after the horses left the barn, but what I should have said when Dr. Keller was up, in addition to thanks to ESS for being nimble, was thank you to all the community members, parents especially, but also our staff, that one administrator, whoever that was, certificated and classified staff, and everybody else from the community who gave us input. It's important to us. We take this part of our jobs, finding a new superintendent, very, very seriously. Probably the most important part of our jobs. We don't have to do it every year. Hopefully we don't have to do it more than once every 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 years. But it's obviously critical. We take it seriously, and we are really appreciative of the community's input, and we'll take it to heart as we work through this process. So thank you very much for that input. Any other questions? Topics? All right. If not, then I would ask for a resolution to adjourn the meeting. Motion. Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.